What's this? The truth about internet censorship. Let's watch this. So yeah, we've obviously
Welcome back to the Truth Factory. Let's play the game. Will I get banned today because of...
What is this? Wait, what is this? Why is there a little cat there? What's this cat about? Oh my god, this looks like conspiracy theory stuff. Okay, let's get into this. The Truth Factory, it's called. Jesus Christ. Someone's quoting David Icke in the comments. The second comment, which has got 54 likes, is quoting David Icke. What have we discovered here? Let's go, come on.
of this video. In the strange time of 2020, there is no tool more powerful for controlling the masses than political correctness. It's
Oh
what
my
those who
God.
seek to control us use as justification to manipulate the information that we see. If you can control the majority of information, then you can control the majority of people, in which case you can manipulate political outcomes. And today these platforms have become an extremely powerful propaganda tool. Based on declassified records of contracts and freedom of information requests, we know that DARPA, the NSA,
So listen,
and...
we know what's going to happen here is they'll take like a point of like, oh yeah, these big platforms have got a lot of power, right? These platforms have got a lot of power. They've got a lot of issues, etc., 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 etc. You know, which is a good point, which is a good key point. But they'll jump off at the deep end into painting it as some ridiculous broad conspiracy theory, you know? So let's see if that pans out.
figures connected to the intelligence community were some of the earliest sponsors of these big tech companies like Google and Facebook. DARPA has even funded experiments on developing tools to identify misinformation on social media and counter it with what they deem as truthful information, reducing the adversary's ability to manipulate events. What this points to is that these platforms have the ability to be puppeted and weaponized for nefarious and political purposes, even by its owners, through things like shadow banning. Now, when left alone, these platforms are the most powerful way to disseminate information to millions of voters. There's nothing else that even comes close to competing with Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter for this. It's truly the new digital public square.
I can't get over this cat. Look at the cat's eyes. So weird. I'd rather just have
You
a
don't
static
know
image.
about virtual face rig.
Oh, hey, Katina, thanks for the $3 donor. I really appreciate it. Yeah. This is the face rig thing, right? So basically, your camera films your face, right? Is the cat left wing or right wing? Pretty sure right wing. I mean, it's making. I mean, initially, it's kind of making. It's kind of making like an okay point, I guess. Right? In terms of talking about, oh yeah, fucking big tech bad. Now look at it talk. Wait till it talks. And yeah, we're gonna jump off. We're gonna jump off into some conspiracy territory. I'm sure of it. You know. Let's see what happens. Okay.
But every single day, these platforms manipulate information which favors the establishment upon which said media cartels have built their kingdoms, normalizing the insane status quo and manufacturing support for agendas which bolster it. And
Manufacturing support for agendas. I don't know. A little bit of. Sometimes they'll say something and you're kind of you're like, yeah, exactly. Like, this is the thing with these channels. There'll be like a little core element of truth, but then they'll spin it off into like weird areas. And the fact that they're saying agendas is a bit of a red flag as to what this channel might be. But we'll listen on and we'll see what happens.
Till eventually people not only believe the talking points that are being promoted, they parrot them as truth and become aggressive against anyone who questions it or dissents from it.
What the hell?
In 2012, Facebook conducted secret psychological tests on its unknowing users to see if they could influence their emotions through influencing the newsfeed information that they saw. And they found that by manipulating the news information, they could influence the mood of their users. Although I'm sure...
What is this graphic? What's this graphic about? All these weird
From their intelligence-sponsored inceptions, these platforms have always been used as a tool for psychological manipulation and propaganda purposes.
What's this? Looks something like GoldenEye.
For example, YouTube openly manipulates information all the time, and they refer to it as authoritative
You should
content.
get virtual
What
face
this really
rig.
means is
Just
suppressing...
imagine a little animated speaking when your words coming out of his mouth.
Hey, Catalina, thanks for the donate. Maybe. Yeah, maybe I'll, yeah, that could work. Yeah, Demon Mama, I don't know, we were looking at right-wing channels, and I just randomly found this cat that was like, what the hell is this? Yeah. But the thing is, the issue you've got is it starts out with a reasonable position, big tech bad, but then they spin it off in weird directions. Anyway, sorry, let me go back a little bit.
Platforms have always been used as a tool for psychological manipulation and propaganda purposes. For example, YouTube openly manipulates information all the time, and they refer to it as authoritative content. What this really means is suppressing independent content while propping up legacy media, which of course can never be biased or wrong or have any sort of...
I mean, it's difficult, right? Because on the one hand, obviously the mainstream media is the mainstream media, you know? But with the mainstream media, although obviously largely it's, you know, what it is, right? There is at least some sort of accountability for the mainstream media. That there's at least some regulators and so on that have, you know, at least a little bit of, like, they can't just publish completely false, well, they can publish very biased information, but they can't post the stuff that's like, I don't know. Like, for example, someone could set up a YouTube channel. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to get to, the Poliv Tree. Yeah, they've got minimum standards of fact-checking and journalistic ethics. Whereas if you're just some random YouTube whack job, you don't have any of those in place. So you could literally just upload a video about COVID-19 and just say the absolute most unhinged, ridiculous, baby-brained things about it. And there's no one that's going to come on you and say, oh, you got it wrong. You're going to be penalised for that, right? So yeah, it's like I would rather that there be. I mean, you know, it's inevitable. These institutions are going to prop up other large media institutions. It is what it is. But there is some logic behind it, I think, in terms of like having a bare minimum of fact checking and whatnot. You know. So yeah, that's it. That's what I'd say. It's not this grand conspiracy theory. And the thing is, these conspiracy theories quite easily lend themselves to the kind of conspiracy theories that far-right people spout, right? You know, the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Them and so on, you know?
Political or financial motivations, which are owned and puppeted by elite billionaires with political and financial motivations.
Elite. It's that word for me that always just makes me just, Yeah, it's that little word that just adds that big thing onto it. Because if you just said billionaires, it's like an unnecessary word, right? Because billionaires are going to be like the elite of society, right? Like we know this, they're billionaires. But when you call them elite billionaires, it's like a redundant way of saying it, right? But the elite has got its own connotations going on with it, yeah? So yeah, I don't know. Couple of little spooky, like ooh. Yeah, no leftist will say elite billionaires or elites. They'll just say billionaires or the ruling class or something like that.
But if you question this official narrative, even if you have a mountain of sources and evidence, like what they used to call journalism, what people used to win Pulitzers for, well, now you're just an alt-right troll conspiracy theorist, and you are the physical manifestation of Hitler's ghost for even mentioning it.
Yeah, but that's because you put it like as the elite billionaires. That you can be critical of the system and critical of billionaires, but if you're framing it in a certain way, yeah, we know where this is going. So now they're setting it up as, oh, I'm just criticising the system and I get called Hitler for it. And then they could just push in all this anti-Semitic stuff. They could just start to push it into you. So yeah.
Lawmakers questioned the heads of the world's 4 biggest tech companies in a congressional hearing in Washington on Wednesday. Now, they pressed the IT big shots about their use of data and behavior towards their competitors.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It isn't a grand conspiracy. It's not a big secret. It's just capitalism, okay? It's just the way the economic and social systems we engage in are set up. That's it. It's nothing more complicated than that. The rich and the wealthy control the world. That's it. Game over. Decision, that's the thing. That's the meme, yeah?
These tech titans will lie under oath that they don't manipulate users or information. And unfortunately, at these hearings, the questions are asked by people who don't understand how to set the date and time on their iPhone, let alone how these platforms even work. And most of the people asking the questions, especially Democrats, receive financial contributions from these big tech companies like Google. And
Yes, that's bad. That's bad. Get money out of politics. But that's it is what it is. That's just that's capitalism, baby.
while some representatives like Jim Jordan clearly got the message right in the most recent hearing, will anything actually be done about it this time, or is this just a performance?
And the power, as the previous chairman and ranking member have said, the power these companies have to impact what happens during an election, what American citizens get to see prior to their voting, is pretty darn important. That's why this committee hearing is important. Look, we all think the free market's great. We think competition's great. We love the fact that these are American companies. But what's not great is censoring people, censoring conservatives, and trying to impact elections. And if it doesn't end, there has to be consequences.
Look at the cat like nodding. This cat's like
That's
Uncanny Valley. Is it Uncanny Valley?
So many Americans are concerned about.
Here's a Twitter screenshot leaked from an underground community after Twitter was recently hacked. But if you post this screenshot to Twitter, it will be removed and you might get your account suspended.
Perm suspended bounce. What is this? What is this?
As it seemingly shows proof of manual intervention capabilities such as banning trends and banning searches, things they claim that they don't do.
What is this? It's funny that all of this they're talking about here are things Donald Trump is fighting to make worse. Republicans are the ones who roll back protections against money in politics. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What is this? Perm suspended, bounce protected. It's like some weird cut-off screen grab. What does this prove? This doesn't prove anything. This is just a random screen grab of maybe some sort of developer tool from Twitter. What is this? What does this prove? This is just... I don't know. This just seems like some random... I don't know. I've got no idea what I'm looking at here. This is like a Q drop. This is like something you'd see in a fucking Q drop. You know, you're looking at it trying to decipher it. You feel like you're having a stroke. I just don't know what this is supposed to mean.
Even under oath. But based on the accounts that they delete and the ones that they promote, the bias is obvious. And seemingly all of these big tech platforms are working in tandem.
There's like so many like alt-right people and rightoids that are like, you know, what is it? They got their blue check mark. Yeah. So out of context, you can't get anything from it. They get meaningless but shocking proof of random shit that confirm their biases. Well, I remember, it's a long time ago now, I remember reading a study and or an article or something, and it basically laid out like how conspiracy theories work, and there's actually the way that your brain operates when you find out new information is like part of a conspiracy. It triggers something in your brain. Is it the dopamine? It might be the dopamine. But in any case, the way that conspiracies work is when you discover new information, it triggers something in your brain that gives you like a positive like feedback loop or something like that, right? Like I remember when I was into 9/11, I remember like 9/11 Truth when I was like when I was a teenager. I remember like you would find out new information, you'd be like, oh wow. Do you know what I mean? You'd be like, this is just like so incredible. I can't believe you feel like you're the only one that is finding out the truth about this stuff, you know? So yeah. That's why those screenshots are so effective, because it's plausible enough that if you're willing to suspend your disbelief, you can use it to justify your unhinged conspiracy as you go further and further down the path with it, you know?
Tandem with the same political agenda right now. We're 3 hours until midnight on America. The fate of the Western world will be determined by the next election, and these monopolies that were created by the government to spy on us are now being used to politically influence people, you know, effectively rigging the election. If Russian trolls posting a few memes on Facebook was considered subversion of our democracy.
Well, yeah, but this is, again, right? Brexit, Trump, Mercer money, the amount of like Mercer money that went into like Cambridge Analytica, literal operations that were on social media designed to swing results of the election towards things like Brexit. But again, this is just part of the system. This is capitalism operating as it operates. There's no conspiracy here. There's no fucking conspiracy with all this. It is not a conspiracy. It's plain. The information is out there. You can go and look at it. All the Cambridge Analytica stuff was reported on in the press.
How is this not a million times worse? But as long as Biden wins, not only will they never have to face consequences for doing this, the talk about antitrust laws will die down to a whisper. There is no greater threat currently.
Donald Trump doesn't give a fuck about antitrust laws. Donald Trump ran on this promise of draining the swamp. He's kept the swamp as disgusting as it ever was. You know, it's...
Currently to our democracy than this. And likely nothing will ever...
Yeah, listen. Well, I'm presuming they're a Trump supporter. I don't know for sure. Yeah, exactly. Republicans aren't... Oh my God, this is so annoying.
Actually be done about it for the very reason that something needs to be done about it. Because they have too much power, they have too much wealth, and they have the ability to crush and manipulate dissenting voices.
Twitter has unveiled a plan to remove thousands of accounts.
Ah, right, here we go. A little bit of QAnon apology here. You know? There we go. Now it's starting to come together. There's the cue. Cat, Q-at. How would you say that? Q-at. I don't know.
accounts linked to the conspiracy group QAnon on its platform. The company tweeted Tuesday, "We've been clear we will take strong enforcement action on behavior that has the potential to lead to offline harm. In line with this approach, this week we are taking further action on so-called QAnon activity across the service."
They just Control-Alt-Deleted at least 7,000 Twitter accounts showing any support for QAnon, which can be as innocuous as these memes. And Twitter says they did this because of safety. Now, is this meme making you unsafe? Is it hurting you? Of course not. The purpose of this was clearly political, as QAnon supporters make up a notable faction of Trump supporters, and there is an election in a few short months. There are some very powerful people and organizations who do not want Trump in office that these social media companies capitulate to. One big...
The social media companies, right? The actual top heads of social media companies, right? They don't like Trump because Trump attacks them. If it was any other like Republican president, they wouldn't care. But because Trump like wants to roll back, what's that thing he wants to roll back on the internet? What's it called? Not net neutrality. The other thing. Everything. Yeah. These people are so dumb. All these social media companies want is money, and you make less money when there's a crazy conspiracy not on your platform, so they ban them. Yeah, exactly. That's all it is. That's literally all it is. Section 230, that's it. That's what I'm talking about, right? So obviously Donald Trump wants to, I think he wants to rescind Section 230, right? That's what he wants to do, right? And that would cause enormous problems for these tech companies. So that's why they're like anti-Trump. But the thing is, they're not removing QAnon because they don't like Trump, the heads of these tech companies. They're removing QAnon because it's damaging to their profit margin. It's a separate issue. It's an individual issue separate to that. Right? You know, they don't give a damn about this fucking. They just want to make as much money as they can. Right? So yeah. And this is all just how fucked the system. This is what's so annoying about these people. They just overcomplicate it. Your problem is with capitalism. That's it. End of story. Just end it there. Oh my god, this is painful.
Example is the Anti-Defamation League, or ADL, which represents itself as an anti-hate organization. But something that this organization really doesn't want people talking about is that in 1993 it was caught illegally conspiring with the police to engage in a massive spy ring. The information that they stole was sold to influence foreign politics. The ADL was also created to honor the memory of a convicted child rapist and murderer named Leo Frank. And it's this very pedophile apologist organization that has decided to be the moral arbiter for the internet.
Wait, what's that emote? Hassan. Hassan's got the best emotes. Yeah, the ADL. They just randomly decide to select the ADL out of no reason, nothing else going on there. Ignore everything else. We're just going to randomly select the ADL. Nothing else to be concerned about. Nothing else to worry about, okay?
Meantime, yesterday, several civil rights organizations, including the Anti-Defamation League and the NAACP, took out a full-page ad in the Los Angeles Times urging big advertisers to boycott Facebook next month. The campaign, #StopHateForProfit, is in response to what the group says is Facebook's repeated failures to address hate on its platforms.
We have been working with Facebook for years. We have a center in Silicon Valley that deals with hate speech on social media.
They have their claws deep into most of these social media platforms and are blackmailing them with threats of trying to turn off advertisers if they fail to capitulate to their politically cancerous demands. ADL CEO Jonathan Greenblatt is the face of internet censorship.
Interesting. What? We're going deep on the ADL, are we? I don't know. Seems a little bit stinky to me.
And if you refuse to join their advertising blockade, they will label you as supporters of racism and whatever other insults they can use to shame people into submission.
I don't know that there's sort of an easy answer for that. I don't know that there's a bright line that you can say this is in and this is out, or this is too much. But the bottom line is that when it transcends just, bad ideas to intimidation or threats of different degrees, that is just not okay. You can't stand in a crowded theater and yell fire right in the middle of the movie. That's not free speech.
Actually, Mr. Greenblatt, that's a common misconception. Yelling fire in a crowded theater refers to a Supreme Court case called Schenck versus U.S., which was actually about disobeying the draft. This was effectively overturned in 1969 after the Brandenburg versus Ohio case, which set a new legal precedent for enslavement.
Oh my god, there's like these two cases being thrown at us. This is very complicated legal precedent, right? You can't just throw it up like that. This is like legal precedents. Like, you don't just fucking throw up a screen and go, oh, there's this precedent. You need to fucking learn it and understand it and explore the full context of what's going on. This is just like gish galloping, basically. Yeah, this is troubling.
Of violence. In order for speech to be classified as such, the threat has to be very specific and not only very likely to happen, but to happen very soon. And even if someone did legally incite violence on a platform like Twitter, that is up to the actual legal system to decide, not you. Which is a good thing, since you clearly don't understand the very law that you are using to justify your oppression.
Wait, hang on. But the platform has a say as well. The platform gets to decide what isn't allowed on their service. So it's not just a legal thing. The platform has their own TOS, again, because they're concerned with advertiser revenue and whatnot. So they've got to have control over what is and isn't on their platform in order to make sure that they're appealing to advertisers. Like, if their site was just full of neo-Nazi stuff, it might be that advertisers don't want to advertise on their platform, So it's not just as simple as that.
Actions. All you're trying to do is censor the new digital public square for political reasons, and that's not surprising since almost everyone at the ADL is a Democrat, and even you worked as a special assistant to Obama. No, there is a perfect...
Oh my god. This is unironic JQ stuff now. It's like that cartoon that one of those moronic right-wing dipshits did, and they put like the all the pins on the board and it formed the Star of David. That's basically what they're doing here.
Good terms of services already built. It's called the First Amendment. Any censoring of speech that isn't actually illegal is about control. In order to justify this political censorship, they will always say that differing opinions is misinformation or hate speech, and that we are all supposedly far too stupid to decide these things for ourselves, so therefore it's harmful to the public and they must step in and protect us from evil ideas and memes. Of course, this is really about control, and it always has been. If censorship policies were actually about keeping people safe, Twitter's target would be pedophiles, which are rampant on their platform. In fact, last year, statistics from the Internet Watch Foundation found that Twitter is responsible for half of the child abuse material found online.
Wait, what's this? Wait, what's that headline? That's literally just a fucking headline. Where is that from? What's the source of this? Where's the... I need more information. What is this? At first I looked at it and I was like, wow, damn, that's pretty ridiculous. And then I just thought for a second, like, where's the rest of this information? Like, there's literally just text on a screen. Oh my god, this is so bad. See if you can find it by plugging it into Google.
Child abuse material found online. But rather than dealing with this, Twitter seemingly changed its guidelines last March to allow public discussion about attraction towards minors. So
Discussions related to child exploitation as a phenomenon or attractions towards sexual minors are permitted. Oh my god! Oh my god, it says it right there in front of you. Provided they don't promote or glorify child exploitation in any way. It's saying that a discussion about it is acceptable. So you could discuss it to be critical of it, or you could discuss it in any way except to glorify it. It says it right there. It's from the Telegraph. Okay, so it is a real article then. It says it right there. It says, oh my god, what a liar.
So from this, I can only assume that Twitter, much like the ADL, either supports or sympathizes with pedophiles.
What? What an absolutely unhinged conclusion. It says, discussion related to child sexual exploitation as a phenomenon or attraction towards minors are permitted, provided they don't promote or glorify child exploitation in any way. In the same sentence it says it. It's clearly, to me, to facilitate conversations that are critical of it, right? And then they say that it's because Twitter supports pedophiles. What? Oh my god, this is unhinged.
Yeah, talking about diddling kids on Twitter is just fine as long as you don't post Donald Trump memes.
No, it's not fine. It's not fine if you glorify. You can't just talk about it and be like, oh yeah, this is good actually. Oh my god, this is so infuriating.
Do not diddle kids. It's no good diddling kids.
The only reason anyone to the right of Karl Marx is still allowed on Twitter is to give it the illusion that they tolerate differing opinions.
Of course
but
they
they
do.
Don't. This censorship
What?
and culling of dissenters has been going on for
That's ridiculous. Of course they do.
years now, but in 2020 it's a victory lap to suppress wrongthink around the world before the election by using political correctness as justification.
There's so many. What's this guy talking about? There's loads of stuff to the right of Karl Marx. You can literally go and read the opinions of neo-fascists on twitter.com if you really want to, okay? Yeah, if you want to go and read Nick Fuentes or Richard Spencer or whoever, you can go and do that right now. And hey, some of these people have got a blue check mark on Twitter. Ridiculous. Absolute full of shit.
Soon Twitter will be nothing more than a 30 million person circle jerk of blue checkmarks further emboldening each other's coldest takes.
So, yeah, just white nationalists that have got blue check marks.
If I was the CEO of Twitter, I would be less concerned about what conservatives are tweeting and more concerned about how a teenager was able to hack in and gain access to some of the biggest accounts on the website. We're supposed to get rid of TikTok now because China is supposedly using it to spy on us. But when the American government uses social media to spy on us as exposed by Edward Snowden, nothing is done about it. It's weird that we're told to care about people having their rights taken away and being controlled by authoritarian forces when it happens in China. But when it happens here, we celebrate it. Oh, thank you for censoring those people that had different ideas than me. I wouldn't want to actually learn something outside of the established narrative that I'm being force-fed. And each day, the elite minority further subverts our speech and...
The elite minority. The words that have been selected here are intentional and they're important, okay? Intentional and important. Hey, look who it is. LibLogic 9. There we go. See you later. You're going to be in double digits next, my duda. Enjoy yourself. The Truth Factory. This is just unhinged.
And freedom, and we aren't even allowed to acknowledge that without the risk of it destroying our lives. And because of that, most people are not speaking out, and those who are censored anyway. The ultimate outcome that they're going to achieve is total control of speech and...
Right, look. Control levels getting turned up to max. The control levels are getting absolutely pumped up to maximum levels right now.
It's a version of our democracy. They're winning. That was their
Oof,
plan,
size
and they're
max.
achieving it. I don't know how it could even be stopped at this point. Most of this has been done as a Trojan horse named political correctness, and it's being weaponized in the dumbest and worst way possible. This type of
Why are they still talking about political correctness? Oh my god. Oh. Political correctness. Oh, Stuart Lee's got... We might watch it after this. We'll see if we can find Stuart Lee's segment on political correctness, because it honestly is the best thing to describe it. Okay?
manipulation has been going on for so long that it's actually created cancel culture. And now we're all supposed to believe that censorship and destruction of people, objects, and ideas is a good thing for our society and that it's virtuous.
Look, I've got my my criticisms of like big tech censorship and all that stuff from like a lefty perspective, right? But whilst I'm concerned about what the future holds with it, these people make out like the present, it's like a disaster, and all these people are getting banned and they're getting their opinions silenced and blah, 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 blah. It's nonsense. You get some fringe weirdos that have got like harmful views that get affected by this, you know. And I do think there's some people that probably don't deserve to get banned and whatnot. But broadly speaking, it tends to be people who are actually got harmful views or are spreading harmful ideas. But they make out like it's this big issue and all these people's free speech are being revoked and all this stuff. It's Fantasyland bullshit, you know.
The free market can't survive without competition, and in order for that, there needs to be monopoly busting of these platforms that likely wouldn't have even become the monoliths that they are today without government intervention in the first place. This is why antitrust laws were created for this very reason. These platforms need to be regulated as a digital public square. If you like this video, please subscribe and share.
What the hell is this?
It's the only way that content like mine will be seen on this platform. Thanks for watching and supporting my work. Have a great night.
The truth, that's the weirdest thing I've seen in a long time. It is, yeah, it's got to be a psyop. I know, it's just a weird end to the video though, right? Like, look, they got the truth about Facebook and they got Zuckerberg with like lizard eyes. Okay, I think we found a new channel to dig into, okay? No, they don't want to nationalise social media. They want to regulate it more. But that's the thing, isn't it, right? They want to regulate it, but on terms that benefit them, you know? Oh, God. Okay, obviously, we'll just end that there. That'll probably make a YouTube clip. Oh, hey, Kevin Logan. That'll probably make a good YouTube clip. So we'll end it there and say... I mean, what can you say? Just JQ, conspiracy, QAnon... It's all there. It's all there. Okay? All the truth is manufactured. True. Say bye to YouTube, everyone. Say bye YouTube. Okay? Cringy. Bit cringy. And that's it.